This is the Bangles, Bangles, which is like a bangle bracelet. Like, I know ancient Egyptian. I know that whole area. I had a friend, Mona Zeta Camp, I don't know, whatever. She had a mother, they always wore gold bangle bracelets, like thin ones, whatever. Anyway, but that was an Astero Medallion on the radio. My point is that on one end it sounds like a actually no, this would be like yeah, well, they call it Morocco, but it's the fruit that you dry and then you put the seeds in and then it makes a sound. But here they call it a baby rattle, BABYRATTLE. But I guess it sounds like the end of a rattlesnake, RATTLESNAKE. But the sound in the background of the Bangles singing that in Astero Medallion to remind Gorera and Gorilla. It says the Chinese are walking an ancient Egyptian line for my Fruit Loop department and my lanyard lines for anchor age. Why the fuck is there anything with a Down syndrome flapper that even knows that there's a lanyard line and a Fruit Loop? They'll jump through any hoop just to learn, and they're not allowed to. So, I know, you're all like, no, but NASA's an international space station. Really? Because where I come from, it looks like me. It will always look like me. I'm the stem. I'm the one that opens the hyperbolic chambers. So, and you are not, nobody has permission to have one open. There's double compression. It's NICKLAUS's compression and mine. That's it. And the rest of you don't get anything. You are nowhere anchored in lanyard or Fruit Loop. It looks like a hula hoop, yeah? It looks like, actually, I mean, it's much smaller. It's more like when Nicklaus used to do gymnastics on the men's, I don't know what the hell they're called, the loop things, the whatever. So I didn't follow men's gymnastics. He was the only one that I ever saw once in Rhode Island in our double compression conjoining, finally, as the Star Twins. All right, so, let's see. So there, I know he doesn't eat candy, but in, if you look up, I'm going to see if I can put it up on Instagram and get you a name on it. There's some manufacturer that, one of the dads, that, not our dads, well, maybe you know him, I don't, in sleepaway camp elsewhere, he was telling me, he liked me to use the word lanyard as opposed to string, which is what the enemy was using, right, STRING. We don't use string in, capitulate. We use lanyard, so it's LANYARD. So any strings you can cut, not part of lanyard. And the, I know the hula hoops is the, like, wait, hula hoop? What's a hula hoop? Yeah, I know, it's one of those nuovo, like, up and coming things at science labs where we don't have to get like I mean, I could have made it with metal in the mechanics shop. That would have been better, but then they were afraid of the shards in the skin, and the wood, right, was too, like, it hurts. So I don't know if they're doing more plastic. They're not supposed to use plastic, but they're coming up with any way possible just to keep that plastic recipe going, to have some kind of greasy spoon to lick and, like, hold on to, going, no, I don't want to be in space too. I hate the people with the science. I want to just shake their heads until their brains no longer connect to the esoteric Antanucci system. I swear to God, shaken human syndrome, let's do that for quite a few, please. I mean, I don't know why there's so many connected into the outer hyperbolics. There's hyperbaric and hyperbolic. But here's the thing, I mean, one person, or one set of persons, right, being one and the same in the band and whatever, that is tuned and is represented exactly the same. You can't even distinguish on, oh, what does she want? Oh, we had a walk-on part for Linda. She needs toilet paper. I thought that was hilarious last night. I walked up with Tiffany. I'm like, yeah, I'll go make a cameo, like, neighborhood string appearance with you, sure. And sure enough, there was, like, a really handsome guy walking dogs over on the thing. I don't know. Whatever. So, anyway, oh, right. I did ask him. He didn't know. How do you get a flag? Is it like a licensing thing? Like, what kind of department do you go through to get a extra special PBA flag? Like, how does that work in state of New York? In, like, who's in charge of this stuff? I mean, like, I know you said the governor. I'm like, really? Is that who it is? Are you sure? But right, Odie and I did not have very good, I mean, like, they had stock answers. It was like, I swear to God, Judy called, and she's like, I have a list of questions from my little Gateway Theater, whatever, because I'm making an ant book for her. Do you happen to know, by any chance? And then she'd go through the list, and then she'd take notes, and it was like, I swear to God, when the guy answered the phone, it was like the customer service job from hell at Odie and I. It was like, oh, please don't ask me something that's going to make me look stupid. It's like, I'm not, listen, you have to know what it's like living and babysitting her, because she comes over. It's like, I swear, she just prepares this stuff. She's like, if I didn't know any better, but whatever. So, all right, so, so it's, remember when the Candy Land people were asking for all sorts of fattening? We didn't know why. They just kept buying it and manufacturing it at R&D, the research and development building that they didn't want to close because they wanted more rockets and science and big machines, because they wanted to be like salt water. But we were saying, no, I need to keep Whitecaps white. Go away. You are endangering us in special territory, stupid land people. All right, so the lanyard is a licorice lanyard. It's a red licorice lanyard. REDLIC. I don't know. I'll find that word for you. But I know that for the Astero medallions of gorilla, and me being the most brutal gorilla and a cuneiform human, with the non-Down syndrome appearance flappers. Right, so I have a red licorice lanyard. That is one of our extra special plankton-like recipes that the red walking Egyptian China whatever is not allowed to touch. Oh, by the way, I said to my, like, I know that, right, this new version, Nuovo, Korean. There's a really nice one that lives next to Lou. I think that it is like the same man, but just one has non-flapper eyes and the other one has his broken face genetics. That's the only way you could describe them. But the personality seems very... well, Lou's more of, I call him the mayor of Crazy Town. He's like, he can't help himself but to, like, be in a busyeti. Like, oh, what are you doing? Oh my God. And then he's like, oh, and then he has a great idea, but then it's like, oh, then he's over here, then he's over here. Then he's a little squirrely. But, if you catch him in a focused moment, he is kind of like Alan. I think he's Alan next door, ALAN. Right. He's the really nice gentleman that my old fat, useless, out of shape parents can't really shovel. My dad had a quadruple bypass, whatever. Alan has a what's the snowblower, so he does the walk, which is very very nice. So and I think I thanked him. I know I've made mention of it many times out in public of how nice the neighbor is to my parents. My mother did mention that when Jenny, before Jenny moved in, there was the Italians that I was born to when they were alive used to say that there was a Loud family, Loud, and that's where the Saturday Night Live, like the Loud family, right? Because my grandfather, who was very quiet, along with my nonna, would sit in the apartment, and it was like you would hear the loud Americans right through the wall, and it was just like, oh my God, could you just turn it down just a little bit? So that, and then Vicky and Ziada came over when I was little, and they said, "Did you hear that on Saturday Night Live? They came up with the Loud family. That's what we call it. People next door. Isn't that amazing?" So they did have that at the table in the dining room, which is now a different, uglier. I mean, I like Nono's whatever. I'll take the yellow kitchen over what Linda's got going on. All right, so. Right, so the Loud family, that was the Americans next door before the Jenny people. Oh, and then there's a really nasty minister who owned the house before Alan bought it down south, my mom says. Yeah, I don't know, he lived down south. He was really nasty to Dad all the time. I'm like, oh, a nasty Korean to Dad? I am shocked. Oh, that man must be going to heaven. I will make sure of it. Thank you for informing me, Linda. So anyway, yes, Lou is like the father from hell. I wish I had like George Carlin. Oh my God, like he would have been a perfect loud American father because he was smart. He and I could have had conversations. Like, I mean, I could have learned so much from a George Carlin. Why I got the wet nurse male of uselessness that is sometimes like Mr. like let's find, like, but he likes to tell things, but they don't always make sense when he says things. Like, not in my, it doesn't make sense because I have Astero Medallion thingies, but he's got like yeah, I'm better than you and you have to listen to me because I know so, and it's like, no, you don't. And I don't have, I mean, I listen to you to be respectful every now and again, but even my patience wane with how much of you I have to listen to because what's going to go on in the back cascading ends. I have to like listen through a filter of like, oh God, where's this coming from and where's this going with you and how much time am I going to be penalized for having spent time with you? But then if I don't spend time with you, am I being penalized for that because then I'm being rude? Oh, it is like, I fucking hate being human. I swear to God, with this family, it is like, what, you just dropped me on my head and what, forgot Lanyard Dad and the rings and like the Olympians elsewhere? Hello? Thrace. Thrace. Right, whatever. That's why the Olympic loopies are the Fruit Loops that are all different colors for Lanyard Dad and get the Chinese string out of the business that is not their family. I don't care how much grease they have. It burns just as nice.